So as mentioned, I became involved with ACDHH about 6 months ago because of my role. And the biggest reason being that I myself have had a profound hearing loss, and I myself have struggled and have probably just over time realized the challenges that I have faced and had to overcome, and the lessons learned that I can share with others. I think there's a really profound piece when you've experienced it firsthand and you're in a position of authority where you can use that to help others. And I definitely think the commission could absolutely benefit from some of my experience, but also some of my organization's reach. We would love to be able to help and partner in that way.
I'm a part of the campaign because I realized that there weren't a lot of young people who were a part of the campaign. So I wanted to be a part of the campaign to talk about my experience, and I wanted to have this opportunity.
And the reason why I got involved in this campaign is because I very much support ACDHH's mission to partner and to work to raise awareness for better jobs and a better life and opportunities, and to improve access so that it's equal.
As mentioned, one of the reasons I want to raise awareness is because of my own personal hearing loss and the challenges that I've had to overcome. But what I think is larger than me is how many people actually are deaf or hard of hearing and are challenged in their own life and in their own employment. Many people want opportunity and they want equity, but they don't know how to get there. They don't know what the answers are. And one of the things that I think my company and I can help provide is some of the best practices we've seen and some of the ways that we can help people become employable and help them in their career aspiration and help them kind of find a reasonable accommodation. I think that we have to help individuals get over the no that they might be getting. I think initially the conversation I had with the commission was, we hear no a lot. And so if I can help open the door to a yes for the commission and the people that are beneficiaries of the commission, I want to absolutely do that.
It's common that people aren't educated or don't truly understand people who are deaf, and that they believe that deaf individuals can't be productive or contribute to the workplace. But when people learn that I have a doctorate in physical therapy and that I own my own business, I get a lot of surprised reactions. I'm a hard worker and I love what I do. I love helping people. I know that many deaf individuals want to be part of the working community and be successful because they have dreams and goals and passions that they want to see to reality. Many individuals who are deaf, deafblind, hard of hearing, love what we do and want to be able to contribute. My last employer felt my deafness was an issue and only paid attention to my deafness instead of paying attention to me as an employee who made excellent changes to the workplace, who developed wonderful relationships with my coworkers, And instead of taking advantage of the positives that I was contributing to the workplace, they instead looked at my deafness as a communication barrier. So I was almost immediately looked at as negative because I couldn't hear. There was no patience, no desire to learn, no willingness to try to work things out. But with open and direct communication, things can be effective and work well in the workplace.
And why is it important to raise awareness? Well, many people are not discriminatory or critical. They're curious as to how they can help and be of support. So that's the perspective we take. We want to be of support and to be able to educate people out there who want to be of support. And we want to be inclusive as well of everyone. That leads to better innovations and better opportunities for the world and the community.
So just like everyone else, COVID-19 has presented challenges that none of us could have foreseen, whether it was accommodation in the workplace, working from home, to providing clear masks, to the technology piece that makes things like this interview possible. I don't think any of us foresaw how far and antiquated our American culture still was until COVID hit. I think we've learned a tremendous amount about accommodating individuals. I myself am continually faced with not understanding what is being said to me because I primarily read lips. So when most people wear the fabric mask, so you cannot read their lips. But one of the things that I've loved about COVID-19 is because I cannot hear and I rely on lip reading, is I've been able to educate others and make it almost normal that somebody cannot hear them and that they do rely on lip reading. I took a class last night where I approached the instructor and I let her know that I rely on lip reading, and I didn't know what accommodation she could make, but was there something? And she said, you know, it's so funny you should say that. I also have a hearing loss and I've just never been comfortable sharing it with others. And she said, but you coming forward gives me the courage to tell other people I can't hear too. And she actually left the class, went and got a clear mask and came back and taught the class. So every time we vocalize what has previously been seen as a disabled or a handicap or something, it's kind of been seen as a negative thing. But through COVID-19, we're almost mainstreaming and normalizing what seems normal to us already. And that is breaking a barrier that I think has needed to happen for a long, long time. So there is one upside to COVID-19 right there.
You know, when COVID struck, there were many new things that we had to adjust to. And I'll talk about some of the successes because of the changes and some of the challenges that I had to face. I work primarily in IT, and my job requires that I use a laptop to do work all day long. And when COVID struck, I had to work from home. And the laptop that I used in my office, I then brought home and was able to use it at home, and it worked out just fine. I'm very thankful for that. But at the same time, ironically, I noticed a lot of changes because everyone had to now work from home. We had to use technology more with our phones and laptops and what have you. And that led to more access for people with disability. And so it was a sort of equalizer. We used email and video phones and such, and more people are using technology, and there's more accessible features, larger video sizes, various colors, closed captioning, video calls and conferencing. More and more technological features were established, and that increased accessibility. The challenges, though, ironically, are that because now we do more video calls, we have less interactions with the people in the office. They can hear and see the interpreters. So that means hearing people think that when I'm signing, that I'm done a lot of times, but I'm not. When I'm fingerspelling, the interpreter has to stop me sometimes, and there's a pause. When they stop me, they're trying to make sure they're getting the message clearly and understanding my fingerspelling. So when there's a pause, the hearing person on the other end thinks that I'm done talking. And so there is that challenge using video relay service, that lag. And so there is that educational side where I've got to explain that when there is a short pause, that doesn't mean I'm done talking, but that I'm fingerspelling or that I'm still adding to my thought. So, but there is that challenge that we did recognize since the outbreak of COVID. With COVID, the work situation is challenging, but I'm lucky to have my own office. I can come into the building and close the door, and I feel safe here in the office. And I continue to keep coming to the office because you have to have high-speed internet for video with interpreters and video with the Microsoft team for our meetings. So I have 2 different monitors that I look at. So you have to have a strong internet connection. So I continue to come into the office. Other workers can work from home, but I come into the office and it's safe for me. Sometimes we have in-person meetings. Oftentimes they're outside. In my work situation, people feel comfortable meeting outside in the open air with the mask on. And I can speak for myself and I can lip read pretty good. So that's fine. One time we did have a meeting inside where everybody wore a face mask, and I couldn't understand them. My boss was there and he understood that was challenging for me and it wouldn't work. So the next time we had a meeting, he said, everyone, when you're speaking, please take your mask, pull it down so that I could read their lips. But that wasn't we realized that wasn't the most safe practice. So we had to figure out how we could make adjustments and make it a safe environment for someone like me to be included and involved. So we made adjustments.
So one of the pieces of advice I would give some young professionals that are just starting their career, their employment journey, is to first develop thick skin, get used to hearing the no's and push past the no's to get the yes that you need. Part of that means developing a wonderful network of individuals that want your success. It's working with someone who can support your resume writing ability to get you that first interview. It's rehearsing interview questions and approaching and being prepared and enthusiastic for the interview process. Don't ever accept a no. I'm probably the perfect example of that, of you're never going to graduate high school. You're never going to graduate college. You're never going to be successful at a career. And every time somebody said no to me, I absolutely wanted to prove them wrong. And I would absolutely say the same thing to you. You have to dig deep, develop a thick skin, and just run towards whatever it is that you want, and don't accept anything but exactly what it is that you are owed, what you are due, and then work really, really hard to continue to grow your career.
Sorry. No matter what you face, you can overcome anything by believing in yourself. Embrace the change, be open, be patient, improve your skills, work on yourself, and enjoy learning new things. To be successful, you should always be continuous learner, so know your strengths and work on your weakness till they become your strengths.
If I could give any advice to young deaf, deafblind, or hard of hearing individuals who are starting their employment journey, I would let them know that it can be challenging out there. There are so many barriers not being a member of the mainstream or people who can hear. But it's important to take a different perspective, that if you see barriers instead as opportunities to be able to communicate, to be able to educate and partner and work with individuals in the community, to show that communication is a team effort, and talk about what you need to be successful instead of being shy about who you are.
I know I'm just starting out on my journey, and I don't have much work experience under my belt. But my advice would be, think about what's right for you. Do what's right for you. Think about what's right for you and focus on your needs. When we focus on our own needs, we can work together toward one goal.
The advice I would give for deaf and deaf-blind or hard of hearing kids growing up and exploring careers for the future is do not hide your disability. Instead, show how your disability makes you better, a better person, a better worker, how it makes you better, more successful, and how you can contribute to the community as a better individual. Stress that. That's what I would say, and that's what I had to do, is convince my employer that I would be good for the company and an asset, and they were happy to hire me in that case. For me, one key to finding work was networking and meeting different people. Sometimes you just have to try something and contact someone. Use your parents' network as well to contact people and find a job. You know, also, you gotta just be direct and call someone, and call the facility, the place that you want to work at, or meet them in person. Show them who you are, show them what you look like, and that you can communicate, and that you are willing to take the initiative and tell them about your experience or your training. And not just turn in an application, but follow up and talk with the hiring professionals or managers in person.